Right, guys, welcome to another edition of the Win the Day Content Library. Today we have head coach Leah. Head coach Leah is going to take us through the importance of controlling the controllables. But before we do that, coach, welcome. Good to see you again. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here and share some wins with you. I just want to briefly introduce myself. I am Leah Jansen. I am a mental performance coach. I am a school counselor, and I am also currently the mental health and performance coach for high school athletes at Ward Melville High School on Long Island in New York. Before I got started, how I got started doing that was I became an elite endurance athlete myself. I am a 13-time marathon runner, 3-time Ironman, including Kona in Hawaii and 5 Boston marathons. And I started realizing there was a lot to the mental game that I hadn't noticed or learned before. And being a student of the mental game and how it enhanced my performance as an athlete, I started to think of ways I could teach younger student athletes these strategies and tools to help them perform better. So with that, I decided to bring these strategies I had learned as myself in my career as an athlete and started teaching them to high school athletes and brought that to all of the kids and student athletes at Ward Melville High School. And I meet with every varsity team there. And I do group team meetings with captains, individual meetings with students. I also have a private business where I do the same thing. So I'm learning that student athletes today are really overwhelmed. They are very scheduled and they are high performers. And I think that teaching them how to balance their schools and sports and other activities and their social life, as well as performing under pressure and getting themselves to another level after specializing in sports for many, many years. It's very different than when I was an athlete way back in the day, but I'm learning these kids are amazing and they really are sponges when it comes to mental performance. So one of the probably most frequent and popular topic that I talk about with the kids is something I call controlling the controllables. And this makes sense to them because at first they're like, well, what do you mean? And so I usually have a big whiteboard, right, Dan? I have this giant whiteboard in the classroom. I have one next to me here. That's why I'm gesturing to this because I'm a very visual person. And I think the kids can be visual too. So I put it on the board and I go, okay, give me a list of the things you can control every day. At any time you have control over these things. And I start listing, and they throw things out like, my energy. Yes, your energy. Your attitude, how you approach practice time. What else? And they start jumping in and they actually know exactly what they can control. Can you control your sleep? Yes. Can you control what you put in your body? Yes. I can control what I eat. I can control what I drink, how much water I can consume. What else can you control? And this is when it starts getting interesting. I can control who I surround myself with, right? Who do I spend my time with? I can control that. I can control my reaction and my response. When coach asks me to do something and I don't want to run, laps around the field, I can control how I respond to that request. We can control how we treat other people, right? You can control how you treat your teammates. You can control how you treat the other team. So, the energy you bring, the attitude you bring, your enthusiasm, your willingness, your coachability. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And they start to see like, wow, we really do have a lot more control. I want them to walk away from the session thinking like, I have way more control and power than I thought I did. Here I am thinking I'm at the mercy of my coach and the other players and the other team and the refs and the this and then that. And I really have more power and more control than I think. So then I go to the other side. Okay, what can't we control, right, Dan? What can't we control? And they start going, I don't know, we can't control what coach is going to do. Can't control that. Can't control what they're going to do, what they're going to decide, who they're going to play. Can't control the refs or the officials, right? You can't control the weather. Oh yeah, the weather, right? Can't control the weather for the outdoor sport. And for the indoor people, you can't control the gym that you're in. When you go away and go play in another gym, you can't control their ceiling height. You can't control the apparatus around you. You can't control the way it smells, how hot it is, all these things. What else? And they start, listing. You can't control the other team, what they're going to say to you, how they speak to you, how they treat you, right? But then I pop back to the other list, but you can control your reaction to it. right? So yeah, I can see them when I'm giving this presentation, and I can see the, you know, the brain is going, and they're really thinking, okay. So then I have them list all this stuff, and I go, how many of you focus a lot on this list, the things you can't control? And they're all like this. What else can't you control? We can't control the outcome. Can you? No, cannot control the outcome. But pop back over. Can you control how you perform? Yeah, you can. You can control your effort, but we can't control what's going to happen. So how many of you spend most of your time on this side? They're all like hands up. What is that getting you? If we're putting all our energy, you guys, in the things you cannot control, what is that doing? And they're looking at me. You're wasting your energy. We want to shift the energy you're putting on the annoying ref. And I hate this guy. He always gives us bad calls. And this team is mean. Last time we played them, we lost in them. That guy plays dirty. This one, da, da, da. What is that doing for your mental state? Are you really able to be focusing on what you need to focus on, which is the present moment and what we're doing right now? If you're worrying about these things, and they're like, nope. If you're consuming your energy thinking about all these things that you cannot control, how could you possibly perform at your best? And they're like, you can't. So I say, think about it. I challenge them to think about the time that they can now shift over to the controllables. We can control how we warm up, our pregame routine, our focus in the moment, how we're talking to one another. Another thing we can control, our communication as athletes between one another on the field, on the court, on the bench. You can control how you act on the bench. You can control what kind of teammate you want to be versus the other teammate down on the other end of the bench who's yelling at you and who's talking trash. What are you going to do with that? That's a waste of energy. And everything that you do that is a waste is taking away from what you can be adding to your performance and the team's performance. And they start to get this, Dan. They really start to see, wow, that's such a waste of my time. Why am I thinking about that? I can't do anything about the weather. I can't do anything about this. It's a distraction. So we want to focus on controlling the present moment. And the best way we can do that is by controlling the controllable actions, right? The things that we can 100% choose. Your attitude, your effort, your energy, your performance, the way you dress, how prepared you are. Check those boxes off. And guess what? How good are you going to feel about your potential performance if you've done all those things? And they raise their hand. You're going to feel pretty what? Prepared, right? And what is the number one thing most kids want to be as athletes? They want to be confident. I ask everybody in the room, what do you want to be? I want to be more confident. I want to be more. A prepared athlete is a confident athlete. So if you are prepared, you did this, you did that, your gear is done, you ate the right food, you slept, you did that. Tell me how you feel walking into that contest. Tell me how you feel. Feel pretty good. So it's so much about and I like doing it in a visual way, again, on the whiteboard, because they can literally see. So I circle big time. This is the area you want to be in, the controllable area. These are the items you want to spend your time on. Minimize the time you spend on these things. The complaining, the worrying, the focusing on uncontrollable things. And I guarantee you, you will do better. You will feel better. You'll be a better teammate. You'll be a better contributor to your team, whether you start or not. You're going to be more of an impact player. And isn't that what they all want to be? Everybody wants to contribute. Everybody is on the team because they want to have an impact. So have an impact, but choose the way you're going to have that impact. Choose the things you can control and focus on, and let go of the rest of the stuff. And the outcome will take care of itself. If you focus on the controllables, the outcome will be a natural byproduct of what you did to control the situation.
Yeah, I love that. That you are right on ahead here. I think two things that I want to drive home, and it's the last thing that you just said. One of the big things, one of the big themes in a lot of these content videos that we're seeing and with our performance coaches is process over outcome. You have perfectly described the process that you can control. And the other thing that really stuck out to me, I have it on my notes here, is you, by doing all of these controllable things, you are becoming a more prepared, which also means more confident athlete. And so for you athletes at home, we spend, I mean, I hear a lot of the athletes say the same thing. I want to be more confident. I want to be more confident. And a lot of our performance coaches are saying repetitions, physical repetitions, mental repetitions, whatever that means for you. But this is a perfect example. So, Coach, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate that. We look forward to working with you in the future. And those athletes out there, remember, you control the controllables. Try to write it down on a list if you have the opportunity. And good luck this season.